Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic. Thank you for joining me on this Friday to listen to me chat about comics for a while. Only 5 books this week, so hopefully this video will be a lot shorter than as of late, but there was some really good stuff, so I may have to ramble a little bit, so who knows what's going to happen. I put these this week in order of greatness. There wasn't anything particularly bad about the comics I picked up this week, and if you'd seen my video on Wednesday, my pull list video, you'll know what I'll be talking about this week. So what order have they come in at? So let's kick straight off. Justice League Dark issue 34 at the bottom of the stack, but not because it was a terrible comic. It's doing this, and it's not really fair to do this to Justice League Dark because it's happened before. They get dragged into these events that are going on. So we've had these kind of 2-issue storylines that conveniently get wrapped up in time for, well, next month, as we all know, we're going to head 5 years in the future, linking in, I presume, with Future's End. I'm not collecting that, so I know nothing about it, so I could be a little bit confused next month. But this month, as I said, it's another kind of convenient wrap-up to the end of this Dead Man story. Nanda Parbat has been decimated by Pantheon, and we get to find out who Pantheon is and why he's done this to Nanda Parbat. And it's your run-of-the-mill storyline of like huge evil laying waste, and we've got a gang of kind of heroes who've got to do battle. But what kind of makes this worth reading is that we find out a little bit about Dead Man's past, Boston Brand as a child. Unfortunately, it's another of those sad, weepy kind of stories of an abused and lonely child. And our blue guy, is it Brahmadas or Brahmadas? He used to whisk a young Boston Brand away to the land of Nanda Parbat to escape the drudgery and violence of his kind of young life. Obviously, as Boston Brand grew up, he forgot about this, which is why he has no idea about his connection to Nanda Parbat and our blue guy. So, you know, there was that to take away from it. They're trying very hard to kind of beef up John Constantine's character. We've always known him in Vertigo as kind of like this, the anti-hero. He doesn't care, well, he doesn't care about other people, but we know deep down he does. He comes across as an arse, and that he just wants to be a loner. And they're trying to do this in here. They're trying to make him kind of be that Vertigo John Constantine, but obviously they can only go so far in a mainstream DC book. And he just comes across as whiny and just a little bit weak, to be honest. So it's not really worked, and another reason why they should take him back out of the DC main universe and put him back on his own in Vertigo. The artwork by Guinaldo, Wong and Sotomayor was very good. It did the job for this kind of average storyline. Like I said, next month it's Future's End. Let's give Justice League Dark a big meaty storyline of their own that's not connected to anything else, that we can lift this book up to, you know, its heights where I know it can be. Okay, Saga issue 22, and the divide has come. Yes, everyone's secrets are out, and Alana and Marco, the split is there. Yes, Alana's a drug addict. Marco's been, well, exactly what's he done? Okay, there's been kind of a mild flirtation with his daughter's dancing teacher. And okay, he may have said her name out loud while they were both in bed. But a bit over the top, Alana. I don't know. This did seem very over the top and unwarranted, and not the point where I wanted this divide to happen. I think Vaughan and Brian K. Vaughan has taken the easy route here. I don't think there is going to be a twist here at all either. It just was felt a bit limp after all the build up with Hazel's kind of voiceover. What else? Well, talking about over the top, King Robot's head. Yes, it raised a little bit of a smile with me, but apart from that, was it really necessary to have him have that huge TV as a head? It just seemed to be there to fill out 2 pages, really. A big 2-page splash. Maybe the storyline wasn't filling the pages, so Vaughan and Staples had a quick conflab and decided, let's waste 2 pages with a big, you know, 50-foot screen, plasma, flat screen TV for the King's head. It was, said, it's a little bit over the top. Again, all the characters, they do seem to be converging now. We have the janitor TV guy head who's stolen the robot. He's now on this planet Gardinia. He's got some message that he wants to pass over on the old TV airwaves thing, and obviously Prince Robot now knows where they are, so he's obviously going to be heading that way. And I think maybe Vaughan and Staples need another break. So the next couple of issues will probably finish off this storyline. We'll have another hiatus. Everyone will wonder where Saga's gone. And it'll be back again. And hopefully it'll be back to the heights it was right at the very beginning. So we had issue 2 of Low, Rick Remender's latest Image book. He just can't seem to stop, but it's probably a good thing because this was a big improvement on the first issue, though the first issue was not as bad, was not that bad, to be honest. It just didn't, you know, grab me like a lot of his first issues have, such as Black Science and Deadly Class. Let's talk about the artwork here. Again, it's another gorgeous looking book. Greg Cicchini is clearly reveling in this kind of the fluidity of his art style, coupled with this kind of underwater environment, and I really do like it. I remember last time I was subjected to Cicchini's art, and that was on Uncanny X-Force, the last volume that he was on when he did a kind of Captain Britain, and the artwork was horrendous. I remember complaining about it in every issue, I think. But here it's stunning, it's gorgeous, and just suits this book. Going on to the story, we've moved 5 years in the future, and we have our surviving family members of the mother and the son, and we're seeing how they are they're basically coping, or in some respects not coping, with obviously the death of the father, and we don't really know what's happened to the daughters yet. They could still be alive out there, and the mother is certainly clinging on to that hope, though she has become somewhat of a recluse, estranged from the son, who has thrown himself into his work as, I guess, a cop, but he's quite a seedy kind of cop. We have him taking some sort of drug that hallucinates while he's having sex with a prostitute, and he thinks he's this kind of gladiator type, Roman gladiator on the front cover that we see, and it all kind of goes all a bit tits up for them all. The guy, the son, sorry I forget his name, but has an altercation with the prostitute's pimp, accidentally kills said prostitute, and decides to try and pin it on the pimp. Fortunately, he's found out right at the very end. The kind of, I guess, these satellites that the mother has been waiting for to let them know that there is habitable life on another planet for them comes crashing down, well, it's been met, I guess, on the surface by what looks like certain unsavoury characters, building up very nicely now. Finally, I can kind of get hold of Low and really enjoy it, and now anticipate what is going to happen in the next issue. And instead of kind of going, well, that was okay, I'll see what the next issue is like. Now I want it. It's Batman issue 21, and I so want to do my I told you so dance. I told you so, I told you so. Look, there may not have been a spoiler in this issue after the kind of last final page we saw of Stephanie Brown donning the spoiler outfit, but I'm certainly going to be throwing a lot of spoilers in this review of Batman issue 21. So if you've not read it yet, stop this, forward it on until I hold up the last comic of the week, which happens to be my pick of the week, and just come back later. Batman Eternal issue 21, my goodness, it's certainly kind of kicked into gear with this. A load of things goes on. New villains are introduced, shocking, well, no, not so shocking revelations. I said this a long time ago, and I said, keep your eye on Bard. He is not so squeaky clean, and it certainly came out in this issue. Let's start from the top. Commissioner Gordon, life sentence in Blackgate. Carmine Falcone being extradited to Hong Kong, but not without Batman having a brief word and a number of punches to the face before he leaves. Bard, yeah, he's not a lieutenant anymore. He's now been made the commissioner. And he's also seems to have got quite tight with old Vicky Vale, hasn't he? Hush is back. Now, I don't know if he's been introduced at all in other Bat titles. I don't think I've seen him in any of the ones I collect. Do I think he's the big bad behind everything? I think it's still too early. I think this is potentially another red herring. And it is played out even more because of the conversation that Falcone and Batman had, that our kind of master puppeteer invited Falcone back to Gotham to stir things up for Batman, and probably has done the same with Hush as well. So yes, we've got Hush back. And we have Zachary Gates, the architect. For those of you who don't know who Zachary Gates is, and I'm lucky enough to have read the first issue of can't remember his first name, but Higgins, Gotham mini-series about the bridges that lead out of Gotham and who they were built by, and the architect who wanted to take down the Waynes, the Cobblepots. Well, he's being released out of Blackgate. So, and who by? Of course, Lieutenant Bard, who is up to no good. Told you so. I told you so. I told you so. It was a great issue. It really was. After the kind of last two issues that kind of languished and kind of got wrapped up very quickly, I said on Sleepy Reader 666's video, I think that was wrapped up very much because the first trade of the first 20 issues will be coming out very soon. So they had to have that final kind of cut-off point for that volume. But picked up marvellously. I can't wait now for the Batman train, the Batman Eternal train to start, you know, speeding up again and getting back in its groove, and it went off to a cracking start with this. Pick of the week, and I think it will be every week it comes out, because Black Science #8 never lets me down. I don't want to sound cliche, but this is out of this world. I anticipate this book coming out every month, and I just can't wait. I got to the point now where I'm going to read it last, because I know I'm going to have a great time. If I've had a pile of books that have been shitty and crap, I know Black Science will be there to pick me back up and restore my faith in my weak stack. And, wow, it just does such a great job of kind of marrying action with kind of emotional scenes, the kind of sci-fi, and particularly with this issue, the kind of mythology behind the Black Science. And then you have these stunning landscapes coupled with these imaginative kind of alien life forms, that it just becomes this fantastic book that should be on the top of everybody's reading list. It is that good. It's been a long time since I've recommended something this highly. I can't imagine anyone not getting something out of this book, if not embracing it fully. Just, if you've missed out, the trade is either out or it's about to come out of the first volume, of the first kind of 6 issues. So if you missed out, pick that up, scout out for those single issues. But this issue, we kind of focus on the kids of our little science troupe that are kind of dimension hopping. We saw them at the end of last issue falling off a cliff and now presumed dead, but instead they are escaping the most strange looking creatures. I can only describe them as kind of polar bears with turtle shell backs and very long and dexterous tongues. As always, it's very much kind of out of the fire into the frying pan, or which way round it goes, because no sooner have they escaped from these crazy polar bear creatures than they are having to hide from what looks like a tribe of ogres. There are some really kind of you know, not sweet but kind of poignant moments. Nate, the young son, through all the action, trying to escape and kind of save his sister at the same time. There's this inner monologue that we hear about him and his relationship to his father. Grant obviously being killed, died at the end of the last story arc, and kind of reminiscing not being allowed to tell his father that, you know, you were my hero, even though, you know, I you weren't always there, and that's also picked up by the sister as well. In the actual base camp with the rest of the adults, we continue with this surprising turnaround from our character Kadia, who started off to pretty much be the villain of the piece. He was just basically a dick to everyone and sabotaging the pillar, but he now seems to be going through this kind of redemptive story arc where he feels not necessarily responsible for Grant's death, but he feels responsible now for the children's lives and wanting to keep them alive, at least until they get back home. So, you know, that's quite refreshing to see, you know, a character that's built up from being, you know, the villain of the piece to someone you can almost now empathise with, or, you know, or sympathise with. If you're a villain, you might empathise as well. I don't know. But start to finish, this book is always so good. Matteo Scalero and Dean White, the artwork, fantastic. There's a gorgeous 2-page spread of a landscape which you just kind of have to soak in, and what are you waiting for? Go out, buy it. And that's it, we're done. It's me, GhostCritic, saying goodbye. If this is your first time here and you just like those reviews and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button, of course, and give me a big thumbs up. I like the thumbs up. And down in the comment section below, have a chat. Say hello to everyone. Let me know what you thought of the books that I picked up this week. Are you a huge fan of Black Science as I am? Are you finding Saga a little lackluster? Batman Eternal. Told you so. I told you so. I told you so.